Okay, welcome back, class. Today we are going to continue doing our vocabulary words. As you see, I have the vocabulary list here. We have continued working on, we have gone over stars, we have gone over Earth, Moon, Sun, the outer planets, the inner planets, and now we're going to focus on orbit, okay? I have 3 pictures here today. Well, actually mainly 2, but the third one resembles the other. 3 pictures here today that it's gonna help you memorize what an orbit is, okay? So before I tell you guys the definition of an orbit, I want to show you my pictures, okay? Let me get the tape so I can put it on here. The first one is, we have a girl hula hoop. This resembles an orbit because as we see, the sun is in the middle, and around the sun there's all the inner and outer planets that rotate and go around the sun. So that's why we have a girl hula hoop, because while using the hula hoop, oh snap, while using the hula hoop, you can see that the girl has to move her waist with the hula hoop, and she has to go around. It's like a rotation, going around and around. It just repeats. Okay, so that's another one example. The second example is a clock. Now, why do I use a clock? Well, a clock can be an example of an orbit because remember, again, well, an orbit is a repeating path that one object in space takes around another. So again, it repeats. It goes around. It's like a rotation. So this is why I use a clock, because a clock, of course, it starts at 12 at midnight, but it keeps going. It's a rotation. It keeps going every day, and it repeats every single day. So that's why I'm using a clock. Okay. So a clock is what an understanding of an orbit, okay? It repeats and it goes around and around. That's why it says right here, time represents by orbiting planets. An orbit, again, it is repeating path that one object in space takes around another. So it goes around the sun, and it just rotates and it goes around and around, and it repeats consistently, repeats every single day of every year. So that's why we're using the clock, because every single day of every year the clock repeats. It goes with the same time from 12, going from 1 to 2 to 3, all the way to 12 again. A hula hoop is the same thing. You are repeating, is a rotation. You rotate your body and you're repeating the hula hoop just to go around and around and around. So that's why we are using these pictures. This is what resembles an orbit. This is, what help you and what help me understand an orbit. Okay, so now that I showed you these 3 pictures, okay, I would like you guys to create your own description of the vocabulary word. Okay, so again, my own description that I use the clock, because it repeats okay. I also used a hula hoop. Is a rotation. It repeats around and around the sun, and the hula hoop repeats and it goes around and around a person. A clock is like, it repeats the same time every single day of every single year, around and around. It's like a rotation. Okay, so that's what I would like you guys to that's what I would like you guys to use your own descriptions as what I provided, but now I want you guys to describe it in your own words, okay? I will give, alrighty, so, alright, okay, so once we done that, I'll give you guys about 5 minutes doing that. Once you guys were done, we are going to share it with a friend, okay? And next person next to you on the desk, okay? Alrighty. Alright, now that has happened 5 minutes. Alright, I'm gonna take away the I'm gonna take away the pictures now since it's been 5 minutes and you guys already review with your partner. And I'm gonna once we shared our own description, our own words. Great, that's amazing. Now once we have done that, I want you guys to draw a picture. I want you guys to create a picture in your vocabulary workbook of your own description of your words. Now I know with mine, I created a picture myself, but that represents, you know, the orbit, understanding the meaning of an orbit. So here it is. Again, an orbit is like a rotation. It rotates around the sun. So here's my picture, what I draw and what I thought. You know, it's a rotation. It goes around and around. Here's the Earth, and here's the sun in the middle. So orbit is what goes around it goes around all the planets. Okay. Again, it's a rotation around and around. Okay. I wanted for you guys to keep understanding, and that's what I'm going to keep repeating. It is a rotation that goes around and around. It repeats the same pathway, same pattern that goes around. So let's repeat it with me, guys. An orbit is a rotation that goes around the sun with all the planets. So it's a rotation that goes around the sun and it repeats the same pathway, goes around and around. That's what an orbit is, okay? So here's my example of my picture. It is the sun. This is the Earth, and it goes around and around as a rotation, okay? A little bit of facts that I would like to provide you guys, that the Earth orbits around the sun 365 days, which, what is that? A year, okay? It also rotates in axis of 24 hours. So a day, 24 hours is a day. So it rotates from the day when the sun comes out, then at night when the moon comes out, right? So that's why we have the moon here. So the moon orbits around Earth 29.5 days, okay? So this is an orbit, okay? So that's what I want you guys to understand, the vocabulary word orbit. Orbit is, okay? Right. Again, the orbit is a repeating path that one object in space takes around and around, okay? Another, so it's a multiple planets going around the sun, okay? So I want you guys to create your drawing picture of your own, what you guys wrote your description on, okay? So once you guys do that, I'm gonna give you guys again 5 minutes doing that. Once you guys are done, then we're gonna move on and we're gonna try to write a sentence using the word orbit, okay? So I'm gonna give you guys 5 minutes creating your drawing of your picture of the description that you wrote down. All right, now I'm gonna take this off. Okay, marker. All right, so I think we are good. So now we're gonna try to write a sentence for an orbit, okay? A sentence. Now I have, I'm gonna write a sentence first in my words that I think of what an orbit is, okay? So again, our vocabulary words is about the solar system, so that's why you know, our thing is the solar system, so that's why we have a vocabulary list of the solar system, and we're learning each words different. So this is going to be my sentence, that the earth, okay, the earth continues, oh my goodness, continues to orbit. So the earth continues to orbit. The earth continues to orbit around the sun, okay? So around the sun in a circular pattern. in a circular pattern. So in a circular pattern, right? Okay. So the Earth continues to orbit around the sun in a circular pattern. Okay, so you guys remember the pictures that I gave you guys? Right, I'm going to bring them out again because that's a perfect sentence that resembles the definition of an orbit. Right? So again, a hula hoop. The hula hoop is like a rotation. It goes around, you know, right? So the Earth continues to orbit around the sun in a circular pattern. So basically the hula hoop is a pattern. It goes around our waist, around and around, and it repeats in a rotation, okay? So that's a great sentence that we are creating here. Again, the clock, right? Time represents by orbiting planets, right? So the clock, it goes around every single day. It's the same pattern every single day. Starts from 12 at midnight all the way from 12 in the afternoon, then again 12 at midnight. So it's the same pattern every single day, every single year. Again, the orbit is the same pattern, and it goes with all the planets, with Earth, Mercury, Venus, with every planet. It continues to go around the sun in a circular pattern. Goes around and around, okay? Okay, so that's a great sentence. The Earth continues to orbit around the sun in a circular pattern, okay? So now, once we have created our sentence, I think you guys did amazing. So now I think you guys need to create your own sentence in your vocabulary workbook. I'll give you again 5 minutes doing this. And once you guys are done, we are gonna share our sentence with the partner next to us. And then after that, I would like to hear a couple of sentences of your own, raising your hand, okay? So again, I'm gonna leave this sentence up here, and then, please, let's not copy the sentence. We create it as a whole class. I want you guys to, create your own sentence, okay? All right. Now, I'm going to read the sentence out again so you guys understand. I know you guys are working. You guys are doing very well. The Earth continues to orbit around the sun in a circular pattern. Okay, I'm going to be going around, and I'm going to see if you guys are doing great. If you guys need help, okay? Oh yes, that's a perfect sentence. I like, okay? All right. Okay, class, it has been 5 minutes. I've gone around and you guys have been doing amazing with these sentences. Let's have somebody read this sentence up here, and then I'm gonna have, since you guys already shared your sentences with each other, I want to hear a couple of sentences from the class up here. So, Catherine, can you read this sentence up here? Earth continues to orbit around the sun in a circular pattern. Good job. Thank you. So the Earth continues to orbit around the sun in a circular pattern. Okay, we got to remember that the orbit is, the meaning of the definition of the orbit is basically a rotation. It's a pattern that goes around the sun with all the different planets, okay? Especially with Earth. Again, here it is. Here's the picture that I showed you guys, right? You guys are doing amazing. The orbit is the sun, is a rotation that goes around. Okay? All right. All right, so once we have created our sentences, I want to, we have done that as well. We have talked, you guys have shared your thoughts with your patterns. That's great. Now, I want to pick a game for you guys, a vocabulary game. But before we do that, I want to share something with you guys, okay? I draw this out, so maybe this can help you guys, all right? maybe this can help you guys. This is right here. This is the orbit, okay? And the orbit starts from Mercury and ends from Neptune. The first planet is Mercury and goes all the way to Neptune. This is the sun. This is the orbit. These are right here. Each individual has their own orbits. Again, this is the Earth, okay? This is Jupiter, Saturn, Venus. This is what resembles an orbit. I actually want to give you guys a video. I want to provide a video for you guys that I thought that's pretty cool, that can explain the orbit and why we have the orbit, okay? And this can help you guys big time with your definition. Meaning, again, okay? So let's go over the definition again before we go over the video. An orbit is a repeating pathway that one object in space takes around another, okay? Everyone, let's repeat the word orbit. Orbit. Okay, again, orbit. Okay, one more time. Orbit. Now, let's repeat the definition. Okay, an orbit is a repeating path that one object in space takes around another. Okay, let's repeat it one more time. An orbit is a repeating path that one object in space takes around another. Perfect. Okay, now your own descriptions that you guys have in your vocabulary workbook is going to help you memorize what an orbit means. These pictures that I will be providing for you guys is going to help you memorize what an orbit is, okay? Remember, the hula hoop, the person is a rotation, and she's repeating the hula hoop constantly. It's going into a pattern. Again, the clock. The clock is what represents an orbit because it's the same pattern every single day, and it repeats every single day of every single year. Starts from 12 midnight all the way to 12 afternoon. Okay, so this is an orbit drawing that I did myself, and this was going to help me remember because this is a sun, and this is how each of the planets go around the sun, and it's an